Good afternoon, councillors and staff. Welcome to the June Cabong Council meeting, and acknowledge that we have members of the public joining us today. So welcome to our meeting, and thank you for coming along. Please be advised, councillors, that this council meeting is being recorded and live streamed. By speaking at this meeting, you agree to being recorded and live streamed. Please ensure that if and when you speak, you are respectful of others and use appropriate language at all times. Cabong Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. The recording of this meeting will be made publicly available on Council's website. I will call item 1, applications for leave of absence. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poole, seconded by Councillor O'Brien. I have one application, Councillor Kevin Beattie, Mayor. There being no other applications, I'll put that. All those in favour? Aye. To the contrary, that's carried. Thank you. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Rawson. Are there any declarations? Councillor Poole.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 22. I believe perceived non-pecuniary interest. Happy to leave the room.
Thank you. Any further declarations? I will put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 3 is declaration of political donations. Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Poole. Are there any declarations? None to declare. Thank you. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 4 is rescission code of meeting practice policy. Mover, please. Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Is there any discussions on this one? Not straightforward. Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? To the contrary, no. That is passed. Thank you. Item 5 is the mayoral minute of appointments. And as you are aware, we have 2 speakers today in relation to item number 22 of our business papers. The first speaker I would like to welcome is Vivian Collett from Canowindra. Vivian, if you'd like to come forward. Thank you. Sorry.
Also copies of our paperwork, just in case anyone tunes out.
Okay.
Okay, residents' response. Development application 2026/019. As this is the 3rd attempt at this site, first being lot 29 subdivision dated subdivision DA 2025/055. Second, no paperwork that spoke to Jan Ferguson in regards to activity in the street. This was for a 64 lot development. Third being a 35 lot development application DA 2026/019. The residents are fed up with these applications, main reason being water, sewage, erosion and road bottom. As we are in a natural water course, we have constant problems with water, and residents are concerned about the extra water from the overflow pipes out of the drainage dams will affect us. I have spoken with numerous government departments over the last 3 days. This was a huge laugh, but all wished us well and said ring us when the problems start. We step in that what good that does us. 15th of May 2024. Residents were handed letters with Cabong Council letterheads in regards to a survey that was in regards to future design work. When they spoke to us, they referred to water, so we let them onto the properties they needed. 12th of November 2024, we received the first DA application. We were supplied with a map and one other page outlining the DA number 2025/0055. We were given 6 days to respond by the time the paperwork reached us. After obtaining the remainder of the page, as it stated on page 16, number 5.15, that stormwater management would remain existing. After receiving this paperwork, I rang Cabong Council and asked if the survey completed future design work was what we thought was also for the benefits of the resident at a later date, was completed with the benefit of was it completed for the benefit of the DA? I was told they were allowed to share information. Was this survey paid for by the residents of Canowindra to benefit one person and the information used in the DA application? During this time, they also came and asked if the sewer could be inspected. No problem. They marked where the existing pipes went and replaced the lid. Couldn't even be bothered to replace the bolts. Our front lawn floats with most rain events all around the sewerage inspection plate. We found out about the second application when a different council officer came to inspect the sewer. He informed me it was for a 64-lot development. It was full of information. During our conversation, he informed me that the sewage system was already full to capacity and with 10 mils of rain it gets thrown out of whack. He also showed me a map telling me that our shed was illegal as it ran right on top of the existing sewer line. This shed was approved by council. I then informed him the previous inspections that showed us where the actual pipes were. His map was at least 10 metres off where the actual pipes ran. He also informed me it was the first time that this type of inspection was done. He was wrong. What that gentleman had said was confirmed by Jan Ferguson when both Mr Smith and myself run the Cabong Council, but to our knowledge that one was taken no further. Now we have the third attempt, Lot 35 subdivision DA 2026/0109. Our concern with the water seems to be dismissed by council as Mr Smith was the only one to be contacted with an email deeming this DA as development as low impact. Mr Smith had contacted the Cabong Council and the response was, we can shift the DA into another category and we would have no chance of challenge and the DA would be passed regardless. Since the new hospital building has started, the water that used to run down Hospital Lane and down Thompson Street now runs across the area of the DA 2026/0109. I walk our dogs up Thompson Street after a storm to Hospital Lane. That corner, while heavy with machinery, was being used as a quagmire, but since it remains virtually dry. There were no surveys in regards to water off Hospital Hill done in regards to this that we know of. Some of this water that runs down Browns Lane now runs back down Thompson Street as the drains near the school are blocked. Now, with the two drainage reserve detention basins being part of the DA, the water from the Hospital Hill has probably not been factored in. I've also watched dams fill up overnight with decent falls of rain. So when this happens and these drainage dams overflow, what is going to be done to help the residents of Canowindra? We are directly down the street from the overflow pipes, no curbing and guttering, no stormwater drains, just dirt gullies. The residents are trying to look out for themselves. This being done by Mr Smith in the way of drone photography so he can protect his own property in regards to all forms of erosion and damage to his personal property. Lily at number 27 blocked off the waterway with sheets of tin. This was done after a decent rain event. She did this so other residents would cop the water and know what she's dealing with. The council was contacted with me completing a snap send solve. The council officer came out the next day, said it was illegal. He also said that we would be contacted, but as usual, nothing was done. At the time, I also asked if we could have a sign saying water over the road in heavy falls, and I was told no, it was too expensive. Mr Smith's property has also been factored into this DA's future development, and he has constantly stated that this property is not for sale. But because council previously contacted them with plans for a development, he is being utilised to get this through as future development. Every government agency we contacted for information in regards to these drainage reserves all but wished us well, but one, and his words were to put it bluntly, screwed. We have been told by many locals that the deal is done, inside information, as people have already been taken up and shown the blocks that are coming up for sale. I now take photos, date them all, so all information is recorded. Land and Environment told us it is important to keep a paper trail for future references for when needed.
Thank you, Vivian. Just before you go, I'll just get you to stay for a second. Councillors, are there any questions? No. Thank you. I'll now call James McMahon to the the lectern to speak on behalf of the proponents, or the applicant, sorry. Thanks, James.
Thanks, councillors and the rest. I'm James McMahon from SRD Land Consulting, a registered land surveyor. Was the applicant for the project. We've built numerous subdivisions, probably in excess of 30 to 40 subdivisions. Stormwater is a major issue these days, it always is. We've done a lot of calculations, both through rational methods of determining the stormwater. I can assure you that all catchment areas have been taken into the catchment, into the calculations. We've done it under a drains modelling as well through another independent engineer hydrologist out of Bowral, who has quite a same amount of issues with stormwater and that. Both of us, with the retention basins, they're actually not dams as such, they're basically a holding for the water so that in peak flows it fills up and it drains. It's basically a dam with a hole in the bottom of it. That water that we are allowing to discharge is actually going to be at a rate which is lower than what it currently is now pre-development. So our post-development is actually discharge will be less than our pre-development discharge. So we're not saying, yes, I acknowledge that there is an issue with, well, there potentially is an issue with stormwater, but what I can say is that we will not be adding to that issue. We'll, if anything, we'll actually be making it better by capturing that water and just slowly discharging it at a rate that's slower than the post pre-development rates. So we've also had a look at the road. The road is a full width road and can quite easily capable of handling the extra traffic. My client is willing to invest $3.5 million in the town for future upgrades, and we think that this is an ideally situated development, being that it is right near the hospital for an ageing community. It can also help with, we're near the school, there's also the golf course as well. So we think that it's definitely ideally situated. I think the sediment and erosion control during construction, all construction these days is heavily monitored either by council and also the EPA. We have strict guidelines in managing sediment and erosion control. So I'm not sure what happens on other sites, but I know that throughout the construction of this site, it will be managed appropriately and in accordance with any other guidelines that are set. I think basically we'll also be proposing to look at putting a design in for the whole of the road for future upgrade of that road. So it could hopefully then alleviate some of the other issues that are going on there. Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, James. I'll just ask you to stay as well and open the floor up to questions. Councillor Nash.
No question. So in the subdivision building, will the stormwater that's already coming down and flooding these people be arrested or helped?
That's right, yeah. So we'll have a series of stormwater pipes and drains around the development which will catch any of the flow that comes onto the development. As well as that is through the houses, they'll have tanks so that they'll use water from their roofs, which will then also create another buffer zone for capturing the stormwater, and then allows it to then be discharged as well into our retention basins. And yeah, they're quite sizable, the retention basins. So.
Yeah, Councillor Weaver.
Yes, I'd just like to ask, with the retention, are they sealed?
Well, essentially they're going to be dry. So the idea is that it's a dam with a hole in the bottom. So it'll only fill up during a storm, and then it will discharge slowly after the storm, and generally the retention basin will be dry within 12 hours after a storm.
So is there some way of people knowing that it's blocked up or anything like that? Is there an alarm system?
Not generally. Council will just be up to the council. Once these, like there is sometimes a little bit of rubbish that could get into the system, and generally that happens during the construction of the houses. Once the houses are constructed, you've usually got grass, lawn. The stormwater pits have all got grates over them, so nothing larger than a small paper bag or something like that, or a shopping bag or something can generally get into the grates. So it's not like logs or anything like that could possibly get into the system.
Councillor Olsen?
Mr. Chair. Yeah, look, thanks for that. You've answered some of my questions. One of the issues is the retention basins. Are they large enough to contain, you're pretty confident that they're going to be large enough to contain the water, the stormwater that's coming down that hill, so capturing everything coming down off that hill as well, up behind? Because there's no doubt there's a long history of stormwater flooding down the bottom of Thompson Street, down there. And there's, I note in the DA there was a mention of a culvert down there that council are working on. I was going to ask a question of council staff later, but is it contingent on that being, you know, this development seems contingent on a much better culvert down the bottom of the hill? That's one thing. Secondly, are you able to control the outflow from these detention basins? Is there, in case there is a change in stormwater flows, because we've got climate change happening at the moment and will continue to happen. We've had record floods in Canowindra already, record stormwater flows. Are you confident that the modelling that you have done is sufficient to deal with those particular concerns, those extra risks, the extra threat?
Yep, no, look, our modelling does actually include climate change. We are using the most current BOM figures for our calculation. They come directly from the meteorology, and they're constantly changing. So we're definitely confident. Like I said, we're using experts in the field that have built multiple subdivisions across many states, and we're very confident that yes, we will not be adding to any more issues. And we're very much saying that we're more than likely going to reduce the impact.
Just to follow up, if that's okay, Mr. Chair. There was obviously concerns about water going off the site onto a neighbouring property, particularly down the roads that just end. How is the water being captured off the end of those roads? Is there a storm? I noticed in the drainage plan there are overflow pipelines that are above the site, below the site, all directed towards the detention basins. How is that water captured at the end of those roads?
So once we will be discharging into the storm where the water basically ends up now, but at a lower rate.
No. In the subdivision, yes. Right? There are two roads which head downhill, directly downhill towards the neighbouring property. They don't go into a cul-de-sac; they just end. Right? Presumably, there's going to be water coming off the site down those roads directly towards the neighbour's property. And I notice on the plan that there is an overflow pipeline you've got along that edge, right? What's the mechanism of getting the water from those roads and into that pipeline?
So what we use is a curved inlet pit. So it'll basically, with a lintel on it, and that'll capture any water going down that curve. It goes into a pit and then into the pipe and then into the retention basin. So no water will leave the site other than going via the retention basin.
And you're confident of that?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we've had two independent. We've had one independent and my engineers have also.
Thank you.
And we were aware of these issues when we did the design. So
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillors, I'll table a report for the Merrill Minute. Are there any other councillors who wish to table report? Councillor Rawson, Councillor Poole, Councillor O'Ryan, Councillor Batten, then Councillor Lever, Councillor Nash. All councillors are tabling a report. Thank you. Councillor Lever.
Something, and that's a local apprentice, in Canberra, Jack Davis, works for Central Energy. He's been awarded the Western New South Wales Apprentice. I think that's outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lever. Yes. Councillor, just as part of my report, I'd just like to also formally congratulate Ken Harris, the Director of the New South Wales Reconstruction Authority, who was recently awarded a Public Service Medal for outstanding service to emergency response and management in New South Wales. As councillors will be aware, following the 2022 Central West floods, Ken was appointed as the Regional Recovery Coordinator, and his work strengthened collaboration, accountability and preparedness results in improved housing security, restored infrastructure and enhanced resilience to future disasters. Ken provided strategic and operational leadership from day one here in Cabonne, including efforts to reconstruct essential public services, deliver relief measures and working closely with council leadership and staff. Since then, he's been involved in assessing impacts and planning longer-term resilience measures, which has led to the establishment of the Central West Recovery and Resilience Package. Ken's leadership and service has delivered enduring benefits to Cabonne communities, and his calm, transparent and community-centred approach has fostered trust. So I just wanted to formally acknowledge and congratulate Ken on that award. Thank you.
Well deserved.
There's nothing. Oh, Councillor Batt.
Yeah, just very quickly, Mr Chairman, just wondering, I represent council at the Canowindra Volunteer Expo on the Saturday the 13th of June, and there were over 30 organisations represented on that day, an outstanding effort by the Canowindra community. I just want to acknowledge the work of Deb Rutter in actually putting that together. I think, you know, to do that was absolutely commendable, and not only were there the 30 plus organisations represented, it was quite a good attendance of people in addition to those who were actually on display.
Thank you. Councillor Nash.
Okay, just quickly, Deputy Mayor, I just wanted to say the Benilde markets were really successful at the long weekend in June, and to thank you and especially Councillor Batten, who did help get that on the way, and it was a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. I will put that report, the Merrill minute then. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Councillors, with your indulgence, I'd suggest that we bring forward item 22, which is the development application 2026 for Brown Street Avenue in Canowindra, and probably put that into the committee of the whole. Could I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Rawson. Thank you. So we will go to that item, item 22. Thank you, Councillor Paul, noting that you're leaving the room out of a conflict of interest. Item 22 is development application 2026/0109, 35 lot subdivision, lots 1 and 2, DP 797416 Browns Avenue, Canowindra. Can I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Before I open up debate, is there any questions of staff? Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Yeah, just a couple of quick questions. What are the... I mentioned the culvert further down Thompson Street, and I mentioned in the DA that was being worked on by council. Is that true? Is that happened or is happening? Seems to be a pretty critical point in the drainage of the whole hillside there.
Through you, Mr Chair. Part of the the process of working through this DA with the applicant is the agreement of works that are going to be done within Thompson Street themselves. There is the intention of entering into a voluntary planning agreement with the proponents to be able to address that work that's in there. It's not all at the applicant's expense, but there is some contributing works that need to be done to be able to enable that work, that culvert to be done. We have done some design work to be able to enable that, but we do want to advance this work a little bit more before we commit to doing any further upgrades there at this stage.
Councillor Lever,
Just on that, sorry, Matthew, does that extend to widening of Thompson Street to carry traffic, because there's going to be a build-up of traffic along that street?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the contributions that will be sought as part of the development from the developers will contribute to future road widening that's there. However, it's thought that by itself this development doesn't trigger the need to widen the road at this stage. There is more developable land adjacent to this development. Once that's triggered further development, then it will likely trigger the widening works to be done on that road going forward.
What if the trigger's not made? What if it doesn't happen? We've got pretty well a single lane road to a major development, if that goes through.
Through you, Mr. Chair, obviously that's at the council's discretion if they want to bring that works forward or not, but certainly part of the officer's assessment on this is that with this development alone it's not triggered yet, but council can step in and make the decision to widen the road earlier before other developments come through.
Councillor Ralston.
Just a follow-up, would that be at our expense, as in council's expense, or at the developer's expense?
Through you, Mr. Chair, you can make a determination to request the other developers, once they are developing their land, to contribute to the retrospective costs of it. It's a difficult process though, and if those lots never do develop, they will never fully realise the full cost of the contributions going forward. So the risk is on council if they bring it forward.
Councillor Nash.
Yeah, my main concern is the stormwater that's already going down there, and I'm just hoping that you'll keep a good eye on that and make sure that the water does not flood all these people out.
Through the chair, the work that's been done to date provides a level of confidence in the officer's opinions that the consideration of how stormwater is to be treated with regards to the subdivision has been dealt with. There is still further work on the detailed design work to make sure that that the infrastructure that is in place is fit for purpose and will not be a burden on council going forward. So there is still further work to be done. However, there is enough confidence in what's been submitted that what's been proposed is able to deal with the post-development flows that the site will be generating.
Councillor Weber.
Yes, as far as the stormwater goes, yes, I think they've looked at it in a reasonable way for the subdivision, but it's just not Thompson Street that needs to worry about the stormwater. It's through Belabula Way, through East Street, right back down to the river. So council have got to look at the improvements all the way through, not just in that section, and judge the stormwater as coming from the hospital grounds down to Thompson Street. It goes on a lot further than that, and it involves a lot more properties. I know that we've got a flood plan in the making, and hopefully that will alleviate a lot of concerns as far as stormwater going down through East Street. I think the main hiccup with the 2022 floods was that the entry into the river was blocked and caused a backflow of water. But you know, it's a combination of a lot of things. There's a lot of water comes down through the hills from the Kewdale Road right through the hospital, right through that whole section, which causes a huge problem. So I think we've got to look very closely at a development of this size being there, but do it in the best, because I'm absolutely supporting development of Canowindra, and I know that we need housing blocks made available, but we've got to look at it in a responsible manner and take everything into account. Thank you.
Yeah, any further comments? Councillor Batten?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just obviously, in my case, going to support the development application, and I refer interested parties to the conditions that are attached to the development application approval if it goes ahead, particularly items 17 to 23, and they're all to do with what we've just been talking about, the stormwater, requiring a stormwater management plan, the design of the detention basin, some very, very strict rules in terms of the person or the people who actually develop it. I think we can have some reasonable confidence that it's actually being dealt with. So through you, Mr. Chairman, I invite the Deputy General Manager Operations to make further comment if he wishes.
Through you, Mr. Chair. To provide a level of confidence to the council as regards to the due regard of stormwater, the council staff have been in several conversations with the developers at the pre-lodgement phase and during the development assessment phase to ensure that stormwater was given the proper credence. It is given the risk that it does provide in that particular development area. The assessment that's been brought on through a comprehensive stormwater management plan and the conditions of consent in recognition of that work that's been going forward. And so it's the officer's opinion that there has been due consideration of the impacts of this development on downstream properties with regards to stormwater. There is further development that could be undertaken in the area. They would be treated along the same lines to make sure that the post-development flows do not worsen any state that is further downstream. That doesn't disqualify works that council needs to do with regards to culvert upgrades and so on into the future, but the consideration today for council is regards to this development and whether the assessment gives the confidence to councillors that the stormwater has been mitigated to not provide worsening impacts to downstream properties.
Thanks. I'll take Councillor Batten as speaker 4. Is there if you have a question, sorry, Councillor Hoover.
Yeah, just a question, and probably a question to Mr. McMahon. Yeah. In regard to the retention dams, is that going to be fenced for safety?
As I said, these very ladders are not steep. They're very and there will be no after rain, so they'll be dry. You can walk through them. They've actually been designed so.
Thank you.
Councillors, just remind you that yes, we're now in the debate, so questions need to come to officers. So I'll take Councillor. That was a question. Take Councillor Batten speaking for. Is there a speaker against? Is there anyone who wishes to speak for? Councillor Webb.
Yes, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I'm in agreement with the submission. As I have stated, I have concerns about the stormwater, but I sincerely hope that that's been all taken into consideration. I just believe that we need development in Canowindra for housing, and I think it's probably a good development to head off with. I have one thing that I would like to say is it's a bit bigger than I probably thought it was ever going to be, but that's the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further speakers against the motion? Anyone wish to ask any further questions or make any further comments? Councillor O'Reilly.
I was just thinking about the floodplain management plan, where there was the golf club was identified as the source of, like in the big flood of water, the flood water. I'm assuming that won't impact any of this, or will it just sort of all come in together, flow in together?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the consultant has been tasked with providing an analysis of the flood study of what actions can be undertaken to address. There are some impacts from that that flood runner that comes from Canoundra Road down through the school and going down to Thompson, but the works that have to be done at this point are unclear. The consultant will provide those with their report, which we're aiming to be to council in draft form at the end of July.
Thank you, councillors. I will put that item then, and it is a division, so I'll need a show of hands. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kolitis and Mr. McCulloch. Sorry, and thank you, Mr. McMahon, for your addresses today. That matter has been now resolved, and you are welcome. I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to take comment from the chamber any longer. You are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting or leave, as you wish. Thank you. Sorry, Russell, can you just grab Councillor Paul? Councillor Paul? Grab Councillor Paul. Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Paul. Just for your. Thank you, Councillor Paul. That motion was passed as per the recommendation. Councillor, just a reminder, we're still being recorded, so we'll move on. We'll move back to item 7, which is Committee of the Whole. I'll need do I need someone to bring us back out of committee? Sorry. Yeah. Can I just have someone to move us out of Committee of the Whole, please? Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Rawson. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you. Item 7 is Committee of the Whole. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Nash. Sorry. Getting a bit excited. Item 6, Merrill Minute. The Rural Fire Service Red Fleet assets. Can I have a mover for that? Sorry. Councillor Paul, seconded by Councillor Rawson. Is there any comments? Councillor Rawson.
Just a question, a comment, yay, finally. Finally census has occurred. And presumably this is going to affect our depreciation bottom line, which is good, although not that we've been reporting that in the last couple of years. But the question, which I know the answer to, but I'm going to ask the question anyway, does this mean that we still have to collect and pass over a fire services levy to the government?
Yep, thank you. Chief Financial Officer.
So we haven't, sorry, through the chair also, we haven't been, as you said, we haven't been recognising the Red Fleet on our financial statements, so there's no impact. We will still have to collect all the data until 1st of July, and we still have to prove to the auditors that the value of the Red Fleet's immaterial to the total value of our assets. So we do still have to do a little bit of work this year, and yeah, just this 1 year. So as regard to the
levy, so we still have to provide a levy of, you know, in fact two, which sort of accounts for about a bit over $1 million.
that is
Passing from council resources to state government, another little cost shift. Is that still occurring?
at this stage that is still occurring, and the cost shifting is occurring. As no change to the last meeting, we still have not had any notification from our counterpart council with the value we have to pay for next year, but we had received the smaller amounts for the New South Wales fire services. We have been advised of that, but we haven't had notification yet on the larger amounts. No.
Thank you. Any further questions? Sorry. Going well here. Item 7's Committee of the Whole. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Poole. Is there any items councillors wish to call? Councillor Rawson.
Look, I was going to call item 32, which is way at the end of our meeting, but I won't. Mainly because I think we don't have time. No, look, only because it's meant to be a discussion. The whole point of that particular item is a discussion, and a discussion should be in the committee of the whole. That's all. That's the only reason.
Yep, councillor. So I'm happy to put that in committee of the whole. Don't take me wrong. Just that it is more around providing feedback to the general manager for a submission from council or directly to government via that link. But I'm happy to put it in the committee of the whole. So we'll put that in the committee of the whole. Yep. Yeah. Is there any other items? Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 8 is confirmation of the minutes. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Weaver, Councillor Batten, and seconded by Councillor Batten. Thank you. Any comments? I'll put that. All those in favour? To the contrary, is carried. Thank you. Item 9 is the Integrated Planning and Reporting 2026-27. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Is there any questions or comments? Councillor Rawson.
Sorry, it's me again. No, really just a quick comment. Just a thank you to staff for putting together, this enormous amount of material. I think I said the same thing at the last meeting before it went out for public exhibition. And on that note, I'm a little bit exasperated in a way at the lack of comment from the general public about these documents, about our future. We're going through a process of soul searching about our budgets for the next 10 years. The long-term financial plan, which sits within this suite of documents, beautifully outlays all of the options we have before us if we go down the route of special rate variations. The community needs to understand the reasons why we're considering these things. It'll be next year when we do consider it. So for those people listening in or monitoring what we do, they can't come back to us in a year's time and say they didn't know about the financial concerns of councils, not just our council, but all rural councils in particular, because it's all documented here. It's all documented here about the concerns that we have and the options we're trying to put forward for how we deal with our future financing. So I urge anyone who's listening in and watching, please look through these documents, please try and understand them and engage with the council. A lot of work has gone into this, and I again thank the staff for the amount of work that they've been doing on this.
Thank you. Councillor Batt.
Yeah, just a quick question, probably to the Chief Financial Officer through you, Mr Chairman. Just looking at these documents, and they are comprehensive as we expect. The caravan parks, page 426 of the document, it shows an expenditure of just over 300,000, an income of 199,000, so a deficit of a bit over 101. So that's a public service, I guess, that we're providing in our community, we're actually subsidising. So picking up on the comments of Councillor Rawson in terms of that fine-tooth comb that we're actually going through our finances with as we lead up to that proposal in 28-29 for a rate variation, are we going to consider the position of our caravan parks and how we manage those into the future?
Through the chair, the $300,000 expense, I will say, includes depreciation expense. And I know that there is some questions with regards to the treatment of depreciation on our books. I just do want to clear that up. The department leader of Urban Services at the moment is working through a business plan for our caravan parks and asking the questions with regards to what is the intent of the service that we provide and how do we want to run it going forward, including initiatives for driving down the operational expense of the facilities and what we want to inject capital-wise, which is your depreciation, to be able to have those facilities upgraded to attract more users and increase that income going forward. So a lot of questions to come to council in the future, and that's currently underway, that review.
Anything further? I'll put that then. Actually, before I do, just to echo Councillor Rawson's comments regarding the work of our Chief Financial Officer, but all staff. Obviously, the budget has a lot of input from right across the business, and yeah, a lot of work goes into this, into preparing this. And can I also acknowledge our leader of Michaela? Sorry, I forgot your title. Michaela, for her work in preparing the IPNR documents in the resource strategies, etc. So thank you. Thank you to those two particular staff, but to all our staff who have helped put together this budget. Thank you. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 10 is the Disability Inclusion Action Plan. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Weaver. Are there any comments or questions? Councillor Nash.
Yeah, through the chair. I'd just like to say that Cabonne is doing pretty well in this area, and you know, I thank them for all they've done, because it makes it so much easier to have places for disabled to be able to go to the toilet or to have footpaths, and you know, I think that it's been really good how Cabonne have, and actually even going to Trundle the other day, there's a lot more now of that sort of thing, and you know, thank you very much.
Thank you, and I note that Councillor Nash, you were involved in developing this plan and providing feedback, so thank you for your contribution. Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I certainly agree with the comments of Councillor Nash, and I just wanted to make a quick comment about what I was reading through the plan, which really hits home the reason why we need a plan like this, and that is that 20% of residents have a disability. That's 1 in 5 people are recognised as having a disability in our community. 13% of our community care for someone with a disability. These are just the statistics that are in this plan, at the beginning of this plan. 5% in direct need of support. And over 50% of the over 65-year group are listed as having a disability, and that's particularly important that, or you're looking at me as if to say, yeah, I think I have, I know.
Not that old yet.
It specifically reflects the ageing demographic within our community, specifically in our region, and so having an inclusion action plan like this is going a long way towards recognising the great need for a significant part of our community, and one which I'm about to enter, the over 65s group.
Councillor Weaver.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate those who've put this together, but this has been happening for a long time. And I can remember way back in the early 2000s when it came before council, and one of the largest disability recipients, I guess you'd call it, is motor vehicle accidents. That causes one of the largest disabilities in younger people in our area, or it did back then. So this is a build on, and I think it's outshining itself. Actually, it's very good that we've got this, and hopefully people will read it when it's on display.
Thank you.
I would imagine that people possibly don't even notice what we've got if they're disabled, because they expect it. It's only when it isn't there that people are aware of it not being there. So it's really good that it's recognised and that we're doing it. But I think, you know, really is I would imagine you'd expect to have a disabled toilet. You'd expect to have access to all this stuff. It's only when you don't have it that you realise what's missing. Thank you.
I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Item 11 is making of rates and charges for 2026-27 and rates and rate of interest on overdue rates and charges for 2026-27. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Are there any questions? Is there any, Councillor Nash or Councillor Pearson, do you want to speak for it? No? Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you wish to speak for it? Okay.
Yeah, just as it's written, Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Weaver?
Yes, can I just ask a question? Residential for Canowindra town is different, and so is the business town Canowindra to the others. Why is that?
I would suggest that's because of the town improvement fund.
I thought that was going out.
Well, it's part of council's rate review, but we haven't made a decision on that yet. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone? Sorry, is that right? Anyone wish to speak against the motion or seek any further clarification? Anyone wish to speak for it? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Item 12 is the North Yeovil boundary adjustment, moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor Poole. Speaker for Councillor Batten.
Yeah, can I speak in favour of this? And in doing so, Mr Chairman, I want to commend the work of the General Manager and the staff and their negotiations with Dubbo Regional Council. The people of Yeovil obviously like the idea of being one community. They see themselves as one community. They don't see themselves as Yeovil and North Yeovil. We shouldn't underestimate, though, the impact of this, not the least of which is going to be the extra work that our outdoor staff are going to get, particularly with the cemetery. There's an expectation there, but I think with good communication, I think we can probably address any issues that the community actually have with regard to that. So congratulations to the staff and thank you.
Anyone speaking against? Are there any further speakers for? I'll put that. All those in favour? Aye. Against? That is carried. Item 13 is the Union Picnic Day for 2026. Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor Poole. Is there any discussion? I'll put that all. Sorry, Councillor Weaver.
Oh, just a quick put, they could have a Halloween,
I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 14 is the New South Wales Rural Doctors Network Bush Bursary Scholarship Program. A mover, please. Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor Poole. Any discussion? Yep, all in favour that it's a great idea, so I'll put that. All those in favour? To the contrary, no. That is carried. Thank you. Item 15 is Local Government Week 2026. Have a mover, please. Oh, sorry, moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor O'Brien. Is there any discussion? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Item 16 is Asset Management Policy, Strategic. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Any discussion?
Sorry, just a quick a typo in the report. I think there was no objection to the policy. Typo in.
Thank you. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 17 is the Rural Tree and Public Safety Management Policy. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Batten. Any questions? Councillor Rawson.
Yeah, I've got a couple of little issues with this one. Thanks, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Look, I certainly agree with the policy that public safety is the key issue whenever we've got problem trees. The only issue the primary issue I've got here is that it seems as if the gist of the policy is that if there is a problem tree that needs to be dealt with, that the only option is to remove it or to lop it, rather than keep people away from it. And the reason I say this is that what if the offending tree is a scarred tree or a carved tree? It's got cultural significance. You know, what if it's got very high biodiversity value? It could be in a road corridor, for example, and it has very high biodiversity value. So by removing or modifying that tree, shouldn't be the only option, and to secure a safe, issues of safety. So, I mean, while I'm happy enough with the policy, I think it might need a little bit of tweaking to at least allow the prospect that some trees just need to remain where they are for very, very good reasons, and that the first option shouldn't be to remove it.
Through you, Mr. Chair, any removal of tree requires a level of assessment from the environmental officer that we have in place, and they look at exactly the things that you've raised with regards to biodiversity concerns and heritage value, and they are taken into account. That's there. Usually leaning towards the approach is preservation over removal and modification to the tree above all, and that's why we do have an independence with the environmental officer doing the assessments on those. And of course, from a risk assessment approach, if the preservation of that tree can be made through isolation, that will be the preference moving forward. But given it's a risk assessment, if the tree can be isolated away from the property, that's the test, is the likelihood of an incident occurring if it's not going to impact on the motorists or passers-by, then it will have a low likelihood and it won't rank high in the risk basis, and it wouldn't be a problem that would be addressed anyway. So yeah, so we then narrow down into what's the value of that tree from a heritage standpoint or for a biodiversity standpoint. It is intended that these policies would then extend into further guidelines that officers would use, and that would provide that extra clarification that they see.
Look, thanks. I think, yeah, I'm sure that's the case. Yeah, just I didn't quite see it in the particular wording here. So it might just need a little tweak, that's all. Yeah. Thanks.
Councillor Nash.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment just to say that it's usually pretty rigorous. I think before you remove a tree, a pretty rigorous look at. So I think, yeah, I just hope that that continues. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Questions? I'll put that. All those in favour? To the contrary, no. That is passed. Item 18 is the event sponsorship program. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poole, seconded by Councillor O'Brien. Are there any questions? Okay. Anyone wish to speak for the motion? Anyone wish to speak against the motion? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 19 is Molong Golf Club special lease. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Batten. Are there any questions? Councillor Nash?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what's this all about, really? Can it be explained to us, please?
Go, yeah.
Thank you for your support, Mr. Chair. So through the Chair, the Molong Showground is what you'd call split into two distinct areas. One's the general showground, which is Crown land managed by council. And in the past, Molong Golf Club has sought a special lease separate to that overall management structure that council has taken on, to have a special lease for the use of their clubhouse. However, the general golf course is within the Crown lands that council manages. Through the process of the plans of management and establishing licence agreements with all the users at the, in this case, the Molong Showground, the golf club has approached council with the idea that given that most of their golf course is already in the land that council manages, and there's shared facilities that have been constructed and are about to be constructed out at the area, the surrendering of the special lease and coming into one Crown land managed with all the users is a viable option for them, and hence the request has been made and brought to council for consideration now. This process has been going on with other showgrounds as well, Kidal, Eugowra and Yeovil. However, this has got this level of complexity there with this special lease for one of the user groups.
Any further questions? Speakers for? Speaker against? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Item 20 is a textile recycling trial at Manildra Waste Facility. Can I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor Ryan. Are there any questions? Speaker for? Oh, sorry, question. Councillor Paul.
Yeah, thank you. Just a question. So is it specifically at Manildra Tip, or is it a Cabon initiative based at Manildra? Like, for example, will the other tips have bins to collect textiles and then they get taken to Manildra, or is it only happening at Manildra?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the intent is only to have it at Manildra at this stage, just to have a trial of the viability of the service, and then it could be extended out to others.
Speakers.
I've got one question. How come Manildra's a lucky one?
Yeah, Councillor Nash, it's probably council's main sort of recycling hub, so to speak. Speaker 4, Councillor Batten.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to highlight the fact this has been through the Environment, Innovation and Energy Committee and was strongly supported. I think it's worth noting the report that's actually contains a graph in there that shows the percentage of what we're dealing with. We're talking about 6% of the product in the bins, but if you look at the initiatives that we're talking about in terms of council introducing FOGO, food organics, and and garden organics, as well as the this one here, potentially we could take out 50% over 50% of the rubbish that actually gets taken to landfill. Now, being realistic, we're not going to get it all, but we'll get a significant percentage of it, I think. That means that what we're going to do is extend the life. The other thing that's proposed here, obviously, is that in the first instance, we do it at Manildra because of what was just said, that's where our recycling centre is already, but with the possibility of then extending it to other sites, particularly Canowindra, then the next one you would expect to actually be the next cab off the rank. So just, I think it's a really good initiative based on what they've learnt from Dubbo and other councils already.
Thank you. Any speakers against? Any further speakers for? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 21 is planning proposal amendment to Cabonne Local Environmental Plan 2012, Centre Pack Enterprises, Part Lot 7201, DP 1284199, Mitchell Highway, Molong. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, second by Councillor Pearson. Any questions? Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Does Centre Pack actually own that block of land? It's actually owned by them as well, but it's just happened to be in a different zoning. And presumably the need for taking over that bit of land is just to bring them part of their set up there up out of the floodplain and put it into an area that's, no, it's not. Is it?
Through you,
No, Russell, yeah.
Centre Pack doesn't own the piece of land. This is actually required as part of a lease agreement with the owners of the land, which is the Rural Authority. So it's in close proximity to their business, and currently they cannot, the use is not permitted on the piece of land. So it's really to have an additional use on that piece of land to enable a lease agreement to actually be entered to between the owners of the land, the Rural Authority, and Centre Pack.
So it's essentially, through you, Mr. Chair. It's essentially an expansion of their setup there. So they're going to keep all the rest of it and still have containers right down on the floodplain.
Yes.
I would have thought that one of the things that they should be doing is actively looking to remove activity from the floodplain. And I mean, I'm supportive of this so that they can move their activity up further off the floodplain, because it is a slightly higher patch of ground. I went and had a look at it today. So it just seems strange that it's just for expansion. I would have hoped that they would be removing activities from the floodplain. But anyway.
I think based on their strategic future plans, they might actually see what they actually want to do, but the application beforehand is actually to enable an additional use. Yeah, for their expansion to happen on that particular parcel of land.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Council as well. As I'm sure you know, the report does state that affected by flooding, often affected by flooding. The new bit here, no, it wouldn't be. Yeah, no,
Sorry, when I went and had a look, I was thinking, and when I saw this, I was thinking, oh, I see where they're going. They want to just shift shift up and out of the floodplain. But if it's not, if it's just an expansion, yeah, what, you know.
I understand now what you're saying. Thank you. Any?
Yeah, can I
Councillor
just ask a question through you, Mr Chairman? In terms of the original conditions of this approval, are we confident that the conditions are strong enough that there is no likelihood of any development happening there that will potentially impact on the floodplain, the creek in particular, and the flow, therefore, across onto Hunter Caulville?
I think we are confident this is a planning proposal and it's not a development application. The proponent will be asked to present a development application, which will actually be appropriately conditioned, which actually will be in line with the planning proposal for an additional use for storage of their goods. So we still have another layer of control at the DA stage to ensure that like whatever concerns are actually addressed via the DA process.
Anyone wish to speak for the motion? Against? Okay, I'll put that. Require a division. A show of hands. No, it's planning proposal. I don't.
I don't think so.
No. Councillor Rawson, sorry.
So I just realised why it was I had this thing, and I'm looking through the report here again. It says the proposal is required to A, facilitate relocation of shipping containers from the existing centre pack facilities. So it's not an expanse. It's not presented as an expansion. It's presented as a relocation. So that's probably where I got that idea from.
So the main thing we considered is really for their operational needs, Councillor. We are not preview to their strategic plans. The planning proposal was actually presented as actually being requested to enable them to actually do their operational needs. I think there's a bit in the report that actually alludes to that sort of thing. Whether they will actually relocate, that wasn't actually put to council or like really with it, but it's really the land there is really required for their operational needs.
One thing that we should also probably consider is the fact that it's that whole strip of land going all the way down to the next bridge, which is going to be changed if we allow this through. But so that this new usage or potential usage affects that entire lot, doesn't it? Doesn't just affect that one tiny little section of it. It's the entire thing, which includes the railway line, the railway station, the car park of the station. There's a whole pile of land there that would be affected by this change. Is that true?
No, I think the land which is affected by the planning proposal is actually shown in purple.
Page 34.
Page 34.
Yeah, I would see that.
Yeah, so that's where like really they want the additional use to actually go, not the whole parcel of land.
Oh, not the whole parcel of
The
land.
whole parcel of land, it actually shows the legal description of the land, but the use will only happen on the parcel of land being shown in purple.
So the red on the map,
I see it. I get it.
and then it's just that shaded area.
So that means that it is excised from the rest of that zone, that mapped zone. Is it excised from that and then treated separately?
So
Is that the point of what's to happen?
So if you actually read, it's on part lot, the legal description, the scheme of the planning proposal relate to part lot 7201. So that's really the part that planning proposal.
Just that bit.
Yes.
Okay. It's just the map there with the red line around it indicates that's the site. Says site.
Yes.
But that's not the case. It's just that little tiny square there, or almost square.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments? I'll put that then. All those, I don't need a division, so all those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 22 we have dealt with. Item 23 is development application 2026/0120 meteorological monitoring mast block 1761 DP 1200476 Mullion Range Estate Forest. I have a mover. Moved by Councillor Weaver, second by Councillor Nash. Any questions? Councillor Weaver.
Yes, I've just got one, and it's to do with fire, and I've read the report. But something like this, can that be a lightning rod? Can it cause a fire? You know, if it's struck by lightning?
Yes. Through the chair, yes, it could act as a lightning rod. It certainly is of the size that could. I would say that this has been forwarded to RFS, and RFS hasn't raised it as a concern.
I did read the report and what the RFS said, and there was no mention of lightning strikes or anything like that. I just wondered. Thank you.
Any further questions? Councillor Nash.
Yeah, I just wondering, is this a start of wind farm, or what is this for? Yeah.
Any further questions? A speaker for? A speaker against? Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Sorry, I'll need a show of hands. Against? That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 24 is development application 2026/0121 meteorologic. Anyway, you know what I mean. Monitoring mask. Lot 24 DP 750415 Canobbla State Forest. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor Nash. Any questions? Yeah.
Comments rather than questions,
Okay,
sorry.
I'll come to you. Any questions? No. Speaker for? Speaker against? Councillor Rawson. Or comments in general, sorry.
Sorry. Look, I just wanted to address the issues that were brought up by a number of the submissions. This one had more submissions than the other one. As everyone would know, I'm very much in favour of the transition away from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And this is just one, these two submissions are part of that transition, having a look at whether or not wind farms can go into these state forests under the rules laid out by the state government in recent years. I just wanted to make the comment that to Iberdrola, if they're listening in, that despite my support for renewable energy in the region, or just in general, there still has to be a social license for it. There still they can't just be placed in anywhere and hope that the people will accept them. A number of people here have put in submissions to say that they are very concerned about issues that have been brought up, for example, about fire risk, about how to deal with fires if they do get into the area, low-level noise, and particularly the visual amenity, the impact on the environment, so impact on species, for example. I know that close by this particular one, I've seen a nesting pair of Wedgetail eagles up there, so what's the impact of, on those? I don't think the impact is great, but still, these are things that need to be addressed. There has to be that social licence. I just reiterate to those people who have put in submissions that this is a DA just for a monitoring mast. It's a relatively minor thing in terms of what it looks like. It is still pretty high. And that's actually a good thing because it then will allow people to look at it from a distance and see roughly the relative scale of any potential wind turbines that might exist in that area. I would hope that if these wind turbines do in fact happen in that state forest, that they are further away from the mountain than where they've talked about. So this one is going to be a little bit in your face. You'll see it, and you add another 100 metres to the top of that, and you'll get a pretty good sense of the size of potential wind turbines in that area. So just a reminder to Iberdrola, there's going to be opposition to wind turbines into the future, but by all means, do your monitoring. Let's learn about the site. Let's learn about the wind field.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To be honest, I obviously supporting the monitoring mast, but I actually hope that it doesn't give Iberdrola the information they need to continue with a wind farm.
Thank you, Councillor Paul. Any further comments, questions? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Oh, sorry, it's a division. All those in favour? Show of hands. Against? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 25 is modification of DA 2007/0144, modification to condition 13, lot 2 DP 610378 and lot 12 DP 775857, 424 Stapletons Road, Boomy. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor Nash. Any questions? Question? Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Why is this happening now? I'm just surprised that it just seems a bit strange that this is now almost 20 years on and nothing's happened about this DA, other than a letter which said that something was happening back in 2010, a letter from a council staff member saying that there's, that they've started doing something. I don't know what, doesn't say. And I've had a look at the satellite image of the site. It doesn't appear as if anything's happened on the site for 20 years. So I'm just wondering why now? What's going on? It just seems this seems really strange one to me.
I'll pass you through to the leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the application, there is a deemed comments. So there are works that are actually considered by the Act as activated the DA to start. And I'm not privy, really, the officer, we have actually looked at previous council correspondence that those, the DA qualifies that it has actually commenced. And the works might be really probably earthworks or anything. If it's council has deemed that the DA has commenced based on what sort of work they've actually done. I'm not really preview on what actually has been done, but I can get that information for you. And really why now, I'm not quite sure. It might be a change of owner, really that they actually want to now change the fencing and actually separate the DA into 2 stages so that they can actually do stage 1 and they're able to do 2 stage. But they have got a DA which they can actually act upon now. The only thing they want council to actually give permission to is really to formalize the staging and actually to remove the fencing such that only we have a section 88B put on title that the fencing can be done later.
A quick follow-up question. So is there no sort of end point of a DA? I would have thought that there would be, once development starts, it has to be completed within a certain time frame?
As long as it's commenced within 5 years.
It's got to be commenced within 5 years.
years of
It doesn't have to be
approval.
completed within a certain period of
No.
time. Okay, thanks.
And this modification's come back to council, as you would be aware, because council approved it initially. Councillor Batten.
Yeah, Mr Chairman, just a quick comment in favour, speaking in favour of this motion. What I would refer people to is what this is, as my understanding is about, is that it's an operating farm, right? So it's consistent with our right to farm policy. So I think in view of that, we should actually be supporting this very, very clearly. That all they're asking for is they don't have to put a fence up. They just want to be able to, without the encumbrance of having a fence on there, which impacts negatively on their ability to farm the block. So I think we should be supporting it.
Thank you, Councillor Batten. Any speakers against? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Division, sorry, show of hands. All those in favour? Against? It's carried unanimously. Thank you. In the positive. Item 26 is modification of DA 2025/0082, modification of site plan lot 9, DP 1135607, 27 Rodder Drive, Kewdale. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poole, seconded by Councillor Nash. Are there any questions? Speaker for? Speaker against? I'll put that. All those in favour? Division, sorry. All those for? Against? It's carried unanimously. Item 27 is questions for next meeting. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Are there any questions for the next meeting? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 28 is business paper items for noting. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Rawson. Any items, councillors, which wish to call? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Against? It's carried. Item 29 is matters of urgency. Mover. Sorry, thank you, Councillor Weaver and Councillor, seconded by Councillor O'Brien. Are there any items, councillors, matters councillors wish to call? Oh, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 30 is committee of the whole section of the meeting. A mover, please. Councillor Rawson, and seconded by Councillor Nash. We have item 32, which is in the supplementary paper. Item 32, Councillor Conduct Framework Reform, has been called. Can I have a mover for that, please? Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Is there any discussion? Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Yes, I guess I put this, as you know, I put this into committee of the whole because it's meant to be a discussion, so we're meant to be providing some feedback to General Manager to put in a submission. Doesn't stop us from putting in a personal submission. I guess the first question I was going to ask, whether or not anyone can answer it, is why is this policy statement being put through the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure and not through the Office of Local Government, which I would have thought would have been the primary avenue for something like this? I have my reasons why I think that might be, that given the fact that the Planning Department has been pushing through some pretty significant reforms over the last year in particular, and there's new ones about to hit us at the end of this month. I suspect this is a bit of a shot across the bow. Basically, accept our reforms or else is really what I think is going on here.
I think councillor, not, the advice is not sure, but I think councillor, you'll find the Office of Local Government sits within DPHI, Department of Planning
It does?
and Housing. Yes, it does. It's
Really?
It's a division within, or an office within that cluster.
Oh, well, there you go. I didn't even know that. But it's completely separate.
That is not an official.
Okay.
That is
I mean,
my assumption.
I'm
But
I'm
they
prepared
do
to accept it.
definitely sit within that department.
It's got a separate minister. There's a separate minister. Because the, most of the,
That is correct, I'm just told.
oh, okay, it's interesting. Look, there are many components of this new framework which are very sensible, particularly having. I mean, it's not an issue. It's not so much of an issue in our chamber, fortunately, because we all get on pretty well. But there are plenty of other chambers where there are particular concerns, so I can understand where they're going. I was just quietly uncertain about the shift from NCAT to the Land Environment Court. I'm not quite sure why they've gone and done that. Why the Land Environment Court should be the primary arbiter of councillor conduct things. Perhaps it's related to. Sorry? It is a bit strange. Yeah, no, look, I can certainly make more comment, but in the interest of brevity, I'm happy to listen to others first, or listen to others.
Thank you. Any further comments? As the mover, I'll give you the right to reply to yourself, councillor.
No one wants to. I've given you the opportunity to discuss this, and no one wants to discuss it. Oh well, no, not necessarily. There are things in here which are potentially concerning. Look, as I say, in the interest of trying to get through everything in today's meeting, I won't talk on any of these things at the moment.
And councillor, staff have taken on notice the reason for shifting from the Land Environment Court
To the Land Environment.
to the Land Environment Court, sorry, and we'll send an email to advise councillors of that reason if we can find that out.
Perfect, thanks.
There being no further debate or questions, councillor Weaver.
Yes, I do, Mr Deputy Mayor, and I don't know whether I can do it, but I would like to go back to item 15, Local Government Week.
That's been passed, but we can
No.
certainly,
It's just a correction.
okay.
It just doesn't read right. Can I read it out?
We'll just have to deal with this matter,
Doesn't
and
matter.
then I'll provide some advice as to how we deal with that.
Mr.
Any
Chairman,
further?
If
Yep.
I can just make a quick comment. I think one of the positions we as a council should take is in supporting the need for simplifying and strengthening the framework so that councils do not deal with, the New South Wales government doesn't have to deal with issues that are of minor or trivial nature. I think Councillor Rawson alluded to earlier, there are other councils where that sort of stuff just permeates the way that they behave and takes up so much time. So I think we should be actually indicating this council actually supports that move. Get away from the trivial nonsense that goes on associated with political parties being part of council.
Thank you. Any further comments? I'll put this report then. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder to come out of the committee on the whole, please? Moved by councillor Rawson, seconded by councillor Nash. Councillor Weaver, you are able to, if your point is in relation to the recommendation or the motion that was passed, you're able to move a point of order. If it's in relation to the report, unfortunately, we're unable to.
I'll leave it.
Thank you. Sorry. We're back to. Yeah, well, sorry, we'll just grab some clarity on.
It's just item
Just your mic, please. Mic. Sorry.
It's just item 3 of that report. It says education video outlining the dam to tap. Water process is currently in the editing stage, and a limited number of desexing vouchers for upcoming financial year will be made available to Gabon residents. And to me, that doesn't read right.
Thanks.
Animal, put... Sorry, it just did not read right.
Unfortunately, councillor, I can't accept it as a point of order. But I am sure that in communications out to the public as part of local government
It'll be
week, we will
fixed.
make it abundantly clear. Sorry? Where the hell are we up to? 31. Okay, we're now up to item 31, which is in that supplementary paper, which is the Disaster Ready Fund Round 4 applications. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor O'Brien. Any questions? Do you wish to speak for the motion? Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I absolutely endorse this. It's just comes on the back of the flood studies that we've been doing across the Shire. And it not only is for Molong, but also for a couple of the other systems. So we're setting up effectively a fund ready to do those ones as well. So I heartily support this. We absolutely need much better monitoring of our creeks and rivers in our area for flood mitigation purposes or flood warning purposes, but also just trying to get a system in place where we can model future flooding as well. Because we do know that we'll have floods again, and the floods in the future will be potentially bad, and the better telemated we are, is a good word, better telemated we are in our region, the better we'll have an understanding of not only warnings when the floods occur, but also modelling for any future mitigation works that we might carry out into the future. So I heartily support it.
Thank you, Councillor Nash.
Yeah, I support it as well, but I'm just wondering about Cadell. Still hasn't been a flood study done for Cadell. Maybe we need to sort of get ready for that now.
Councillor Nash, I'll pass it to Acting General Manager, but following the 2022 floods, there were discussions with the community around a flood study or a drainage study, and the community's preference was for a drainage study, is my recollection. And there's a number of reasons for that, mostly the implications that a flood study could have on the town. But if the acting general manager has anything further to say.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, your comments are correct. That was the preference, and that will be built into the overall Cabon floodplain management plan, which is scheduled for after we finish the Eugowra and Canowindra plans. As it relates to this report, whilst the 3 major flood townships have been identified, it would be expected that this type of program could be expanded to other townships into the future. It's just that these 3 townships have the support of the flood studies and risk management plans now moving forward. So that's why they've been put forward as being the basis. I would hope that future iterations would be a lot cheaper for council to be able to, once the platforms are in place.
Okay, any further questions or comments? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Now move into the closed section of